Introducing the all-new Corolla.
The Compacts of Free Association are treaties established between the United States and the Freely Associated States, which are made up of three separate countries: the Federated States of Micronesia, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, and the Republic of Palau. These treaties allow the U.S. to demand land for bases if needed, and they prevent these countries from allowing other countries to use their air, land, and water for military purposes. In return, their citizens can move to and live in the U.S. and its territories. The U.S. government has made a commitment to fund the costs of compact impacts in the territories and in the state of Hawaii. The governor's office just recently submitted their report for fiscal year 2013, and they're estimating that FAS citizens have cost Guam over $128 million for 2013 and a total of $682 million from 2004 to 2013. However, the Department of the Interior hasn't been satisfied with Guam's estimates for years now. Bureau of Statistics and Plans Director Laura Lee Crisostomo.
Well, they question how we report. However, we do know that among the other territories in Hawaii, we are more good in our reporting. We are always up to date. Some of the other territories don't report on a yearly basis, but then they would just still make the request for funding, but we would still track and report it.
The USGAO has noted this, and they've recommended that the Department of Interior establish some sort of guideline for the territories to use when reporting, so that there would be no complaint about the methodology. But Crisostomo says they've never received guidance from the Department of the Interior, so they continue to report the way they've been reporting it, which basically relies on the governor's office collecting reports from each agency. The GAO noted that these reports don't take into account things like citizenship, contributions to the labor force, payment of taxes, or consumption of goods and services by FAS citizens.
These reports calculate also contributions from FAS citizens as far as tax or how much they contribute to tax?
No, not this report, yes. We just followed the guidelines that said this, you can report the cost for social service, which is education, and then the health. And so that we focused on that.
Even FAS citizens who don't make enough money to pay taxes would still be contributing by any purchases they make on Guam, as those purchases increase the gross receipt taxes of those businesses. The report also doesn't take into account people of FAS descent who are now U.S. citizens, for example, the children of FAS migrants born on U.S. soil.
Does it separate U.S. citizens versus FAS citizens?
Well, see, that's where there's that gray area. So we are addressing because of the impact, and these and they have migrated over, and if their families have expanded, we're going to clock it, because without this, prior to the compact impact, we didn't see this influx.
However, it's likely that even if all of these things were factored in, the U.S. would still owe GovGuam a lot of money. Even half of GovGuam's $128 million estimate would be well more than what GovGuam has been receiving from the federal government.
And at the same time, in the U.S. public law, it only states that $30 million will be dispersed among the areas that are impacted, and that hasn't increased. But services have increased, inflation, and so we just all put in a request to try to get a portion of that $30 million.
Out of that $30 million, GovGuam gets $16.8 million, Hawaii gets $11.2, the CNMI gets $1.9 million, and American Samoa, who only reported 10 FAS citizens, gets over $13,000. Meanwhile, Hawaii could soon begin asking for more money.
If Hawaii's haven't been reporting and they're going to make adjustments in their reporting, we may see ours eventually getting less than what we usually get.